Nothing to report.
All right, thank you. And Carl, we have some items from you tonight.
Yes. The first item I have is consideration to approve the 2024-2025 end-of-year evaluation for the superintendent. Annually, the board is required to do an evaluation, which was held last week. And this would be the opportunity for the board to support that completed evaluation, which will then be placed on the website.
Can I get a motion?
Madam President,
Todd?
I move that the Board of Education approve the Superintendent 24 and 25 end-of-year evaluation as recommended.
Is there support?
Support.
Thank you, Amy. This is a roll call vote. Amy Bissell.
Yes.
Cole.
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Griffin?
Yes.
Lisa is excused. The chair votes yes, and the motion carries. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Anybody have anything they want to say about Carl's? Sorry. Remember, I said my brain's only about half functioning tonight. Any comments? Well, okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it. The second item I have, Chrissy presented the financial items at our last board workshop, which was 2 Thursdays ago. And so, again, annually by state law, we have to adopt the resolution authorizing the end of 2024-25 budget year. I would ask that the board adopt the end of the year budget.
Can I get a motion?
Madam President,
Megan?
I move that the Board of Education authorize the resolution for the 24-25 year-end budget final amendments as recommended.
Is there support?
Support.
Cole, thank you. This is a roll call. A roll. Oh, sorry. Is there any discussion?
I would just like to thank Chrissy and her team for putting that together. It was very well put together, very easy to understand, and we're in a great financial position. So thank you for all your work.
Anybody else? Okay, this is a roll call vote. Amy Bissell.
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Griffin?
Yes.
Lisa's excused, and the chair votes yes, and the motion carries.
The second portion of this requirement is to open or officially authorize the resolution for the start of the year budget for the 25-26 fiscal year.
Can I get a motion?
Madam President,
Griffin?
I move that the Board of Education authorize the resolution for the 2025-2026 fiscal year budget adoption as recommended.
Is there support?
Support.
Thank you, Amy. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I know we're shooting blind here because their budgets haven't come down from the state level, but it looked like a very conservative budget, Chrissy, and I do appreciate that.
Just a reminder, we did budget at a loss of, I think it was 50 students, as well as a $0 increase. So I assure you we'll at least get $1. I would agree.
Any other discussion? All right, this too is a roll call vote. Amy Bissell.
Yes.
Cole.
Yes.
Todd.
Yes.
Megan.
Yes.
Griffin.
Yes.
Lisa is excused. The chair votes yes, and the motion carries.
I'm just going to keep going, Chrissy. Is that all right? The final piece is the consideration to approve Chartwell's food service management contract. And again, by state requirement, every so often, I think every 5 years, the districts are required to go out for bid. And there's a process to that. Chrissy followed the process working with our team. And we had several bids returned. Chartwell's, who we've had for some time, and I think are actually doing a good job of working on trying to create some options for students, and as well as have some creative programs for getting kids to taste different types of foods that they otherwise may not have. As a reminder, the Chartwell's employs officially the director of food, so Shelley is an employee of Chartwell's. All of our other kitchen staff and food service staff are our employees, so it's not completely unique, but it is different than the, I guess, the traditional sense, where we would also employ the director. So Chartwell's did come in at the lowest bid, seeing that we already were happy with their service and they're continuously working to improve, I am wholeheartedly recommending that we approve Chartwell's once again.
Can I get a motion, please?
Madam President,
Cole?
I move that the Board of Education approve the Chartwell's food service contract as recommended.
Is there support?
Support.
Thank you, Megan. This is a roll call vote. Amy Bissell?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Griffin?
Yes.
Lisa is excused. The chair votes yes. The motion carries. All right, Carl, I think that wraps up your portion of the evening, and we're
Someone else's turn, yes.
over to Alex for
All right,
personnel
well,
items.
Thank you. I have 3 items tonight. The first is consideration to approve the Bedford Secretarial Association, or the BSA, master agreement. And there's a summary of the CBA, and I can just kind of go over some of the highlights. So it's a 3-year deal. The first year is a 4.5% increase, and then a 3% followed by a respective 3% in the third year. So 4.5, 3 over the 3 years. The goal is always to use county averages around throughout Monroe County to ensure that Bedford is toward the top, and this will allow us to maintain that with our secretaries. So that's one part. We also made some modest increases to their annual longevity payments, increasing those $50 at each tier. We restructured some of our secretarial positions, so we are a declining enrollment district, so over the course of the last 3 years, we need to constantly massage our needs, our staffing needs for the secretarial unit, and we were able to accomplish that in this bargaining session as well. We've elevated the status of a couple B-level secretaries to A-levels, and then we're one building and lost students. We moved one from an A to a C, so it all worked out. We also gave them back their snow days. That was something that they lost in the last bargaining session. So now the first 4 snow days that we have, they will not be required to use like vacation time or earned sick time. We updated their obsolete language, just things that were no longer relevant to the contract, and worked that out. And I've linked that, and it was ratified last week by the unit, and hopefully board approved here tonight.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion, please?
Madam President,
Todd?
move that the Board of Education approve the Bedford Secretarial Association Master Agreement as recommended.
Is there support?
Support.
I think I heard Cole first. Is there discussion?
Madam President?
Megan?
Our secretaries are the first line, the first thing that students see when they walk in the door, the first point of contact for many parents, and they're super important. So thank you, Alex, for the work on this contract that appears to me to be very positive for the unit.
All right, this is a roll call vote. Amy?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Griffin?
Yes.
Lisa is excused. The chair votes yes. The motion carries.
Okay, thank you. My second item is consideration to approve a BEA new hire. This is a physical education instructor at Monroe Road Elementary, Mrs. Angela Gerber, who currently works at Erie Mason, and would like to come over and join us here at Bedford Public Schools.
Very good. Can I get a motion?
Madam President,
Megan?
I move that the Board of Education approve the BEA new hire of Angela Gerber, physical education instructor at Monroe Road Elementary, as recommended.
Is there support?
Support.
I think I heard Amy. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. And my third final item is consideration to approve BEA resignations. The first is a social worker at Monroe Road Elementary, Miss Rachel Brubaker, who was with us for 1 year and was given an opportunity to go to the Monroe County ISD and actually still work as a social worker at Monroe Road Elementary, but through the Monroe County ISD. The second one is special education instructor at the high school, Mr. Dan Williams.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion?
Madam President,
Cole?
I move that the Board of Education approve the resignations A through B as listed below as recommended. A, social worker at Monroe Road Elementary, Rachel Brubaker, and B, special education instructor at the senior high, Daniel Williams.
Thank you. Is there support?
Support.
Was that you, Todd?
Sure.
Is there any discussion?
I have a question about the social worker. So does that mean that we will have the line item to then, we will be hiring a second social worker? Or we then don't have to pay for a social worker at Monroe Road?
Yeah, so the ISD currently provides a social worker at all five of our schools. That's something that's happened recently. We added a second social worker at Monroe Road Elementary due to an elevated need at that particular building. It's a very difficult, it's probably the most difficult position in our industry to fill at this point. Like, for example, the ISD was using a third party to fill the job that Ms. Brubaker has accepted for most of all of last year. So while it is unlikely, we're hopeful to get an applicant, but it is unlikely that we'll get a qualified applicant. So we have also posted a student support coordinator position, someone that could assist Ms. Brubaker in her role with the ISD and could still service the children of Monroe Road Elementary. So we have a backup plan. So we will have a human, it just depends on what that person looks like in that role to support the kids.
Which means in that case, they would have 2 student support coordinators.
Yes.
Instead of 2 social workers.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. With that, we've come to our public commentary time. At this time, if there's someone in the audience who'd like to address the board, you can make your way to the podium. Seeing none. We will move on to board and administrator comments. Alex, we'll start with you.
Yes, in the world of human resources for in human resources for the district, we have been keeping up with end of the fiscal year wrap-ups. There's a lot of things to do with July 1st, starting a new fiscal year for the school district. So my department's been inundated with wrapping up last year, preparing for the upcoming fiscal year, and then the continuous staffing needs. As we posted positions, it's been a really unique year. So like, for example, Ms. Farnan retires and Mrs. Ortiz was given her position, which opened up an assistant principal position, which went to a reading specialist. That reading specialist job went to a third grade teacher. That third grade teacher went to a second grade teacher from another building. So I feel like we're spinning our wheels a bit right now, but we are doing really good work in filling our positions. And eventually we'll get to a spot where we start to hire our external candidates. But staffing's going really strongly for this time of year. I feel like we're in a great position for the fall.
Great, good to hear. Dr. French?
Thank you. Similar, it's the wrapping up of the year and the starting to think about next year. So we've had meetings with principals, all of the principals, the week of July, what was it, 13th? Or, yeah, on June 13th. Elementary principals again this week to do some more planning and wrapping up grant years, starting new grant years, wrapping up evaluations, setting goals. So we're in the midst of all that good work that happens this time of year. So thank you.
Chrissy?
As the same as the other departments, we're rolling into a new year, so we have lots of year-end procedures and prepare for our audit. And I would just like to say congratulations. We had 13 students graduate from adult education and earn their GED on Tuesday. So I just want to say congratulations to those students.
Wonderful. Thank you. Carl?
The new trend is that when somebody leaves a district, we basically steal somebody else's employees. So I've had many conversations with our colleagues. We all wish that was not the case. We've taken a number of really good educators from Erie Mason over the last couple of years. We've lost some really good educators to other districts. In an ideal utopia, we would continue to grow and keep our own people. So Alex being able to move people up into new positions I think it's a breath of fresh air. Hopefully we continue that trend. But as we go back and forth with other districts, I don't think it really helps kids. But we're in the position where we have to have professionals in the classrooms, and so I do feel bad about that. So I've reached out to superintendents personally when this happens. It's never an easy conversation because I'm in the same boat when we're searching. And the ISD has taken a few of ours lately, and I've had the same conversation with them. Wouldn't it be great if we could just continue to grow and have people from within step up to new positions? So that's our goal, to continue doing that. So thank you, Alex, for making that happen. I know it's not easy to basically fill one person's role with 6 new hires as you trickle down. And then the other piece is as our cabinet is working together and they're, shutting down this year and working for next year. My last couple weeks have been a little different, as you know. There's been a lot of conversation on social media. There's been a lot of obvious concern, as well as the superintendent is obviously concerned. What's happened in this community over the last 2 weeks has just been heart-wrenching, and I hope tonight's event at the stadium, community stadium, can give some closure to some of the people that loved Gwen and her family. And I promise you, as a community, we have grown and come back before when we've been down. This is unfortunately not the first time we've had a tragedy, but our commitment as a district is to support anyone who needs the resources or the help to get through these times and then to build stronger as we move forward. So I'll be there tonight if anyone joins us. I hope it's a great event that our families and students and obviously Gwen's family has the opportunity to say goodbye in a more joyous manner, which is what the family's hoping for. So thank you guys all for your support and for lending a hand as we work through these things, because no superintendent will ever tell you they're easy times. And as you guys know, and many of you know, the family, it's been a challenge. But thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to board comments. Oh, sorry, Tom. Hi, Tom.
I'm on the board.
I know. Sorry.
Thank God.
No, it's been a busy, hot summer so far. Many projects have gotten started, a lot of projects that have got to get started, and we actually have a few projects that have been completed. So things are on schedule. Many new workers this summer. We had a lot of summer help this summer that's helping. Everyone's doing a great job trying to stay cool and busy.
All right. Cole, board comments?
Just my condolences to the Smith family during this tragic time. I understand, being a former band member and being an athletic member too, on a team. It's just so tragic to watch this just happen. I just can only feel for our community right now and the students especially that graduated with her. So my heart goes out to everybody. Thank you.
Megan?
I have no additional comments at this time.
Amy?
I have no additional comments at this time.
Griffin?
Just like to remind everybody that the fireworks are tomorrow. If the weather holds, if it doesn't, they'll be on Saturday. I don't know what happens if the weather still doesn't hold. I honestly don't know what happens after that. The other piece is just to thank all of our staff this year for all the work that they do every day, and looking forward to next year.
Todd?
I also want to send out our thoughts and our prayers to all those struggling in the community, trying to make sense of a senseless tragedy, and look forward to continuing to serve. Thanks.
Thank you, Todd. I have a brief comment, and forgive me, I'm going to read it because I won't get through it if I don't. I would also like to express my condolences to the family and friends of Gwen Smith. Gwen was one of my daughter's closest friends. Her loss is immeasurable. It has been devastating to see the young people in our community come to terms with and mourn the tragic loss of one of their dear friends. I would like to take a moment to thank the parents, teachers, staff, and community members who have supported not only Gwen's family, but also her friends during this time. They are going to continue to need that support and care as they grieve in the weeks and months to come. And to Gwen's friends, I want to say I have seen you care for and lean on one another during the last 2 weeks as you navigate your grief and your feelings. Continue to be strong for one another. Many of you will be leaving for college in a few short weeks. Stay connected. Share your sorrow and your memories with one another. Love each other. And with that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Madam President,
Amy,
I make a motion to adjourn.
is there support?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries and the meeting is adjourned at 6:51 p.m.